Throughout the ages, many mortals have achieved godhood in the Elder Scrolls. Talos became a god, Vivec became a god, Olmalexia became a god, and so did Sotha Sil. But what if I told you Maiq the Liar became a god as well? I want to make it clear that the theory I am presenting in this video is very much a crackpot theory. It's widely speculative and most likely isn't true, but it's interesting to discuss and think about all the same. I'd also like to state the theory is not mine, but that of an awesome redditor named Alex Huntington, so thanks to him for allowing me to make this video. Maiq the Liar has been present on Nirn for some 1000 years, or at least an incarnation of him has. You see, Maiq himself tells us that his forebears were all called Maiq as well, which would suggest that Maiq the Liar in Skyrim was indeed just one Maiq of a long line of descendants of the Maiq line. But this is ultimately unclear, and for the purposes of this theory, we're going to assume Maiq is one being and that he is indeed 1000 years old. And the theory of Maiq actually being one entity throughout the ages is supported by the odd tendency Maiq developed in Oblivion of constantly searching for calipers at noon each day for some unknown reason. He seemingly carries on this tendency in Skyrim as he asks the player where he can find calipers. This would suggest at the very least that the Maiq in Oblivion is the same Maiq in Skyrim, or maybe all Maiqs just have an unhealthy caliper fetish. Who knows? Now, if we accept Maiq being 1000 years old as truth, then this would instantly suggest that either Maiq was an incredibly powerful mage or that he had achieved apotheosis. Arguably, achieving godhood would be more likely in this regard due to one quote that Maiq says to the player in Skyrim. Maiq can't remember his childhood, perhaps he never had one. Now this might seem a rather ambiguous statement, as surely everyone has had a childhood, and although we can't really remember our early formative years, no one's memory is that bad that they can't recall being a small child. However, there is one way to explain this confusing statement. We can use Vivec's story of achieving godhood as an example, as when he did achieve godhood, Vivec basically rewrote his childhood, so once he became a god, he had always been a god. Perhaps it's the same for Maiq. In becoming a god, he was no longer his former self, and so all memory of his previous life faded. Maiq also seems to possess an unprecedented amount of knowledge when it comes to the Elder Scrolls universe overall, which is fundamental to becoming a god in the first place. You see, for a mortal such as Maiq to achieve godhood, one must achieve Kim, or Chim. Kim is fundamentally realizing your place in the universe or within the dream. But I won't go into the specifics of Kim in this video, as it's a very in-depth topic that requires its own, if not several videos to explain. Fundamentally, Maiq seemingly has enough deep knowledge of the lore of the Elder Scrolls universe to achieve apotheosis in the first place. But why does Maiq seemingly do nothing with his godhood? Vivec became a god king of his people, and Talos the god of mankind. So why hasn't Maiq achieved a similar sort of status as being one of the leading figures in the world? Unlike them, Maiq seemingly uses his godly powers to roam Tamriel, messing with adventurers and searching for calipers. So even if Maiq has achieved godhood, we wouldn't be able to fully tell anyway, as he doesn't act like a typical god. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed it. I've got lots of other cool lore videos on the channel that you can feel free to check out. Thanks again, and I'll see ya.